Hello everybody, I'm glad you're here today. Today is May 30th, 2024, and in this video we're going to talk about pest control on your little homestead or in your house or in where, I don't know, wherever you live. You don't want creepy crawlies coming in. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to read out of the Bible, a brief passage that's meant to encourage us, and we're going to read from How to Act in Case of War from the Latvian country. And I don't know about y'all, but I am learning a lot. I am gleaning a lot of information just by reading that. I hope y'all don't think it's boring. If you do, you've got the option just to click off, so that's okay. Now, one of the things that's bugging me this day about the escalation in Europe, in the country that starts with a U, that everybody's fighting at, is the amount of countries that are okaying the use of their weapons against the bear country. Just flat out saying, you can use whatever we give you against the bear country. Just do it. You have our permission. The United States is not one of those countries, but here they are. I got a list of them. If I understand this to be true: Canada, Latvia, UK, France, Lithuania, the Netherlands, Poland, Finland, Czech Republic, Sweden, and Estonia. Those are the countries I understand who have given the green light for the country that the proxy war is going on in to use against the bear country. Eventually we're going to cross the line that I think there'll be a point of no return. I don't know exactly where it is yet. I don't even know if the powers that be know what that is yet, but they are testing it for sure. Okay, so that bothers me along with other things. I am staying alert. Yes, we are getting dreams from God. Our family is. I am not bringing everyone to the channel. I'm not telling you every single dream we have. I am recording them, but I'm trying to be a little bit more discerning in what the Lord gives us. Taylor, my daughter, has had a dream. I have been in prayer about it. I'm thinking this weekend I'll probably be able to make a video on it. It's interesting. It's an interesting one. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on. Let's see. On our little town, I'll just tell you a quick story about our little town. Our mortician, Dusty is his name, is now singing solos at gravesides. Per the family's request. It's really nice. We had a Korean veteran of war from the Korean War pass away, and my daughter went to his funeral yesterday, and of course Dusty did the funeral, but Dusty also is now saying, it's the second funeral she's gone to and it was Beulah Land. Sweet Beulah Land is what he's saying. And he's got a good voice. He loves Jesus, so it's all cool. It's all great. But anyway, it's been interesting. My daughter was with a friend and a co-worker who's pregnant. And so the mortician's wife came up to her and said, "Oh, I didn't know you were pregnant." "Yes." My daughter's friend, "Yes, I am. This is going to be our last one." "Oh, that's good. Going to be your last one. Are you going to get fixed, or is your husband going to get fixed?" That was the question. That was after they had been to the senior citizens luncheon, and a senior citizen had said, "Oh, are you going to get a tuber?" To this friend of my daughter's, "Are you going to get a tuber?" My daughter was like, "Ain't nobody say that anymore, Mama." And I was like, "I've never heard it in the first place." Yeah. For those your tube's tied for interpretation, if you don't know what that is. I had never heard that, but I thought it was funny, but apparently it's not modern anymore. So, yeah. So anyway, there was a long discussion at the graveside about this woman's family planning decisions that really aren't anyone else's business, but in a small town, everybody's business is everybody's business. So that was funny. I thought y'all might like that story. Now let's talk about pests. Now y'all, it's warming up. In the winter, things get dormant, things get cold and frozen, and there's no, real, we don't get a lot of mice. We do during harvest, we get a lot of mice. Harvest, but winter, y'all, it slows down even the mouse problem. In the fall, it's not great, but So here, but when it warms up, we have had trouble with red ants or wood ants. Now, they're not the fire ants that are in South Texas, which are brutal. I do not know what y'all use for fire ants down there, but I know that that's a type of ant that can sting you, and it will make you sick, and they can attack you. So y'all tell me in the comment section, those of you in South Texas or wherever you are, if you have real fire ants, what do y'all do to kill them? What products do you use? Here is what I found. Now, these are probably what I would call wood ants. I call them fire ants because they do sting you if they crawl on you, and they're very aggressive. So, and they're big. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. So these ants, I started seeing them in my house every once in a while. Every once in a while. Oh, it made me mad. Anyway, here's the product I found that works the best against them. It's called Amdro. I don't even know how you pronounce it. In fact, it was Mr. Bubby, Miss Linda. It was Miss Linda who told me, "Oh, get you some Amdro, girl. You don't need to call a pest control person. Pay you $100, get you a $15 thing of this." And I was like, "Well, heck, I should have done that." But anyway, whatever. That's a story in and of itself. So this Amazon, I think the package looks different now. The front of it does, but y'all, it works. You can sprinkle it. Don't get your pets around it, so read the directions, but you can sprinkle it outside your house, around the perimeter of your house. They take it, it's bait, they take it, and they're supposed to take it to the queen, and like, she'd be dead. That's what, and apparently, so far, so what, every 3 months or so, you need to put this on if you see them. But go look for all those creepy ant beds and just sprinkle this, but make sure you don't wear sandals because they can crawl up on you and sting you. So, in the apocalypse, y'all, you don't want ants in your house. And you don't, so anyway, get you some of that. A little goes a long way. Also, mice, y'all, of course, Victor's my best friend. Victor mouse traps are my favorite mouse traps. They are the most humane. I mean, those other ones that catch the mouse and catch and release, I don't even know why you'd mess with that. Forgive me, those of you who are soft-hearted in that regard. I am not. I don't want creepy, nasty mice around my food, in my house, around my children. No. And it's easier. This kills them dead, like, boom, breaks their neck. Boom, hopefully. Usually, I mean, they don't stay alive in that trap. No, it kills them immediately. Now, I've had a trap where it was sticky paper. Well, during the night, I heard the mouse crawling with the sticky paper across my utility room floor. It was like, and then it go, like that, during the night. And I woke Mike up and I said, "Mike, there is this mouse and it's not dead. Listen." Sure enough, here you could hear it pulling the trap, all right, with it. I don't know, like 1 foot stuck on that trap. I don't even know. Next thing I know, Mike gets out of bed, grabs a hammer, boom, and then opens the door and slings that mouse out the backyard, take care of it in the morning. And we did. So that is my opinion about mice. If you have animals or livestock, y'all, there's an industrial mouse trap. Get it on Amazon. It's a box. I use Victor brand because, I just love him. So there's other brands, though. It's a metal box. It has 2 openings. So it opens up. All you do is put a little cracker with peanut butter in it. Shut it. Put it where you want it. The mice go in, but they stay alive while they're in there. So either you got to drive out 10 miles in the country and release those mice if you want to, or you have to get rid of them in other ways that are, y'all, I'm just going to shoot straight with you. I drown them. All right, I put them in a thing and pour water in them, and I think that's humane. And then once they're dead, I empty the box. Okay, I don't know. I just can't have mice in my hen house. I mean, I just can't. All right, so that's your tips for the day. What do you do for pest control? Y'all, when I set a mouse trap, I put a little bit of cheese, a little bit of American cheese, and a little dab of peanut butter. That's what I do on these, and that works every single time. So that's what do you use to bait your mousetrap. Now, I have had mice that are real sneaky who know how to, like, avoid it. I don't even know how. You know, their brains are this big. I don't know. But, so what I do is tie. I know I get quite creative. I actually tie the bait onto the bait thing here, and that usually gets them. All right, now let us talk quickly. We're going to shift gears here, and we're going to go to something that I hope encourages you, okay? Something that has come to my attention this week that made me ponder on some things about the enemy, Satan, okay? And so one thing that I was reminded of is God is bigger than Satan, and we need to remember that. And we don't need to be seeing demons around every corner, even if we do. I mean, we don't need to be afraid of that. We don't need to be, you know, wringing our hands and going, I just don't know. I just don't know. It's awful. It's awful. Y'all, the spirit within us is greater than the spirit in the world. Okay, now when you remember that. John, the Apostle John, who wrote this, tells us this, and this in 1 John, I'm just going to read one of the many passages. 1 John 4:4, but you belong to God, my dear children. You have already won a victory over those people, the people that don't belong to God. That's what he's talking about. If you read up above it, which I'm not going to read that, you can. 1 John 4, but you belong to God, my dear children. You have already won a victory over those people because the spirit who lives in you is greater than the spirit who lives in the world. Did you hear me? The spirit who lives in you, the Holy Spirit, is bigger, is greater than the spirit who lives in the world. Those people belonging to this world, so they speak from the world's viewpoint, and the world listens to them. Let me read that again. Those people belong to this world, so they speak from the world's viewpoint, and the world listens to them. But we belong to God, and those who know God listen to us. If they do not belong to God, they do not listen to us. That is how we know if someone has the spirit of truth or the spirit of deception. So we need not be surprised when the world doesn't listen to us. All right, because they ain't going to be listening to us. But we also need to be careful not to listen to the world too much. You can listen, but don't buy into it. Remember, they belong to the world. So their viewpoint is not our viewpoint. Their viewpoint is not God's viewpoint. All right? So y'all hang on to that and remember that, and don't be too, worried about all this stuff going on. Now, I will tell you this. Reading this How to Act in Case of War that the Latvian government put out has been a real eye-opener for me because I am surprised at how thorough, how much they're covering, especially the chemical attack. Those are things that's not really on my radar. Now, I will tell you this. We've got a lot of dangerous chemicals in my area. I told you about the train in my last video, but I will also tell you that farmers use dangerous chemicals. All right, so we spray them, we breathe them in, everything like that. So that's a real deal also. But I mean, getting a gas mask or whatever, that I'm trying to find where we left off. That might be something you want in your preps. All right. Okay, here we are. Okay, page 38, I think. Action in the combat zone. I think this is where we left off. Action in the combat zone. Here we go. During a military conflict, many factors will work against you, including emotion. Oh, did we read this? Yeah, we did read that because I said, those emotions. Okay, here we go. We go past that. Let's see. Don't talk to tacky people. We talked about that. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, and I showed you the picture. Oh, yeah, here we are. Because it's this picture of that man, remember? Up against the wall. Sorry. Sorry, I wasted about a minute of our video time. Okay, how to prepare for an enemy siege. Okay, that in and of itself turns my blood cold. All right, I can't imagine how to prepare for an enemy siege. To minimize casualties and maximize survival, civilians must prepare. This chapter lists the most important areas where civilians need training. Okay, if you listened to the president of the Bear Country speech yesterday, he mentioned that their whole nation, everyone in the nation, needs to consider themselves as being on the front line in war mode, which I found to be an interesting speech. Okay, here we go. Water. Access to water is likely to be blocked with the intention of forcing the defenders to surrender or disrupt as a result of damage to water treatment facilities and pipelines. However, water is vitally necessary for maintaining vital functions. The firefighting, and for providing medical assistance. While the water source is still available, fill as many containers as possible. These can be bottles, pots, boxes, tubs, containers, and non-traditional water reservoirs. You won't be able to last long without water. That is excellent. When things start getting really bad at the very beginning, get information, gather water. Food. Create stocks of high-calorie foods for long-term storage. Start limiting consumption from the first day of the siege. Cook perishable foods first. Try to freeze it while there's electricity. After a power outage, store food in cold places, preferably underground, with ice and in a safe place where it will not be damaged or lost during the battle. Redistribute canned fruits and vegetables in portions to last longer. Ration. You will also need nutritional supplements, vitamins. Poor nutrition in children and elderly and sick people will suffer the most. If it is possible to evacuate these people, it should be done. Okay. That sounds awful, to be separated from your loved ones. Oh, that sounds awful. Okay, here we go. Personal protective equipment. Let me make sure I didn't stick together. Okay, personal protective equipment. The following clothing should be included in the inventory in case of war. Gloves. Tight-fitting work gloves are recommended. If the city is destroyed, there will be glass and sharp objects around you. You will need gloves to protect yourself from injury. Eye protection. Pieces of wood, broken glass, and burns caused by explosion, all this will endanger your eyes. Goggles can be very helpful. Ear protectors. Explosion can cause significant hearing damage. Ear protectors when outside the shelter will reduce the risk of injury. Helmet. Construction and bicycle helmets or other civilian equipment will protect your head from falling structures and debris, as well as from injuries in damaged buildings. Masks. Face masks, including work-filtering gas masks, will be required when moving through fumigated buildings to reduce inhalation of harmful substances. Shoes. Choose water-resistant shoes made of durable materials. Dry clothing. Take care of a set of warm clothes. Keep them in plastic bags. These clothes should be suitable for sleeping and resting and should be kept dry. All of that, I have not thought all of those through. So that's amazing. I will say this. You can never have enough gloves. And the ear protection, it takes one time of firing a firearm by your ear to realize that you have just damaged your eardrum. That's good. Okay. The dry clothing too. Amazing. Okay, I hadn't thought of that. Work clothes. Change into work clothes to reduce the chance of injury. Clothing should be made of polyester Clothing should not be made of polyester as it may melt and cause injury. In bad weather or when sweating, clothing can become damp. Choose wool clothing because wool retains warmth even when wet. This clothing should be dried while lying down. Okay, so, and then here's a picture for those of us who are visual. Okay, all of that is excellent. Oh my word. Okay, here we go. Shelter. Try to reduce the amount of sharp debris from shootings and attacks. I didn't mean to say that word. I didn't know it was there. It is best to cover the windows with boards. Use veneer boards or corrugated cardboard. If such materials are not available, windows can be covered with thick cardboard or carpets. Also, piling sand or earth outside windows and brick walls can reduce the amount of debris from explosions. Indoors, heavy furniture such as sofas or tables is placed between the inner load-bearing wall and the outer wall. The bullets usually go through brick walls, doors, and cars. A wall is not a reliable cover. Try to create 2 barriers between you and the source of the fire if you are under fire. Sanitation. In order to prevent widespread pollution of residential areas, civil society groups should organize measures for the safe disposal of waste. Okay? Those are all great. Y'all, we're going to stop right there because now we've got a picture that looks like this. Okay? We're going to end this video. That's a lot, y'all. That last chunk, I'm fixing to go start looking for stuff that I haven't prepared in that way. That's good stuff, y'all. That's all I have for today. Y'all do what you need to do to get ready. Things are not calm. Things are not normal. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. But remember, the spirit within us is greater than the spirit in the world. All right? Stay safe, America. This is Gina Lima Charlie. I'm out.